What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Touchdown with Doug Smith. In this episode, you're going to want to stick by because we're going to talk about 10 NFL revenge games to look out for this upcoming 2020 NFL season. Check it out.
Touchdown!
So number 10 on my list, we got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You know, we got Tom Brady down there over in Tampa Bay, Florida. He's going to be playing twice a year versus Drew Brees and the New Orleans Saints. Y'all, listen, Dan Marino, before Tom Brady was ever in the league, okay? Before Drew Brees was ever in the league, there was a guy by the name of Dan Marino. He held majority of the quarterback records for the NFL, such as touchdowns, such as yards in the season, etc., 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 etc. That being said, a lot of these records have been broken because now it is a pro quarterbacks league. However, top 5 of the best quarterbacks within the last 2 decades, you definitely have to give it up for Mr. Tom Brady, also as well Drew Brees. However, now they get to play each other 2 times a season, so I'm going to be very excited to see how those can turn out. Number 9 on my list is going to be week 3. We got the Baltimore Ravens versus the Super Bowl defending champions, the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, guys, I am very excited for this. Unfortunately, these 2 teams did not get a chance to take a meet in the AFC Championship like I wanted, like I so hoped. What a classic game that would have been. Instead, it was the Tennessee Titans versus City Chiefs. However, nonetheless, these 2 teams are definitely Super Bowl favorites for this upcoming year. Both teams had a monster draft. Both teams were able to retain so much of their talent. So, gonna be very excited. Week 3, definitely get your popcorn ready for that one. All right, so number 8 on my list is going to be none other than the Dallas Cowboys versus the San Francisco 49ers. Now, you have 2 juggernauts. What's really fun about these 2 teams, not only have they both taken and played each other many times in the playoffs, not only do both of them, you know, they often are in debates of who is America's team, but also as well, these 2 teams are both in tip-top form. Both of them have massive defenses. Both of them have great offenses. Both of them have 2 quarterbacks who currently at the moment are trying to prove themselves at the moment. So it's going to be really, really excited. December 20th, make sure you guys check out that match. Number 7 on my list is going to be the Miami Dolphins versus New England at New England. Now, this is going to be very fun because the New England Patriots for the last 2 decades, thanks to a guy by the name of Tom Brady, have really ran that division. It's been really pathetic, as a matter of fact. None of our teams have really been able to come through and held it down as the number 1 team in that division, in the AFC East to be exact, for very long. However, last season, the Miami Dolphins actually took and stopped the New England Patriots from ultimately getting that bye week in the first round of the playoffs last year. And hence that led to Kansas City Chiefs ultimately getting it. So, anywho, it's going to be a great revenge match. But what's going to be very interesting is that Miami Dolphins are locked and loaded. I mean, locked and loaded. I mean, they had probably, I would give them the top 3 best team that had the best free agency this past offseason. But also as well, you had the New England Patriots. They were able to maintain a lot of their talent. It's not like Tom Brady left and everybody left. They not only had a very good draft, but also they have Mr. Cam Newton there, who I'm going to assume that he's ultimately going to stay healthy and then ultimately going to be taking that week 1 starting position. So it'll be very, very interesting to see how that goes. And it's going to be a great revenge match for the Patriots, which I do not see them winning. Anywho, for number 6 on my list is going to be the Denver Broncos versus the New England Patriots. Now, Cam Newton, since that painful loss when he played for the Carolina Panthers some years back in the Super Bowl to the Super Bowl winning champs, back when Peyton Manning ultimately walked off into the sunset, Mr. Cam Newton did not walk off to the sunset. If anything, walked off to the deep end. He really didn't return back into the same form, not mentally, not physically. So now he is locked and loaded. He's on his revenge tour, and he plays against the Broncos this upcoming season. So that's going to be a great match to take and look out for. Number 5, we're going to take it to the NFC West, where we have the Seattle Seahawks versus the San Francisco 49ers. Now, I must say, if I could choose any game during the regular season last year, the best game was definitely that 49ers versus the Seahawks, y'all. That match was one of legends, probably one of the best matches I've ever seen in my life. So definitely look forward. And what's really cool, they play each other twice a year. So both teams are probably more locked and loaded than ever. I would even throw the Seattle Seahawks on the list as far as Super Bowl contenders for this upcoming season. And then, of course, you know, you got the San Francisco 49ers ultimately wanting blood. For number 4 on my list, we have the Las Vegas Raiders facing off in their brand new stadium versus the New Orleans Saints. Now, the New Orleans Saints ain't nothing sweet. Before last season, they were even favored to ultimately make it to the Super Bowl and hoping to Drew Brees to get his second ever ring. However, ultimately, that didn't happen last year, and here they are kicking off another season. But they're starting off in a brand new stadium versus the Las Vegas Raiders. So it's going to be very exciting. The Raiders had an awesome draft. Definitely put them in my top 3 as well, too. I'd probably give them number 3 as far as best offseason that they had. Everything from draft picks to picking up new additions for their team. John Gruden is ultimately wanting to prove himself that, hey, he can ultimately win again in this league. So ultimately, that's going to be a really good game. It's going to be great to see, how the fans ultimately react. Obviously, the current epidemic is definitely something that's of major concern right now. So if fans will even be in the stadiums or not, we don't quite know yet. But nonetheless, definitely a game to check it out. Go Las Vegas Raiders. I know you guys are going to take that one in. Number 3 on my list is going to be coming from the AFC West. We have Melvin Gordon, former LA Charger, now plays for the division rivals, the Denver Broncos. Now, guys, this one's going to be a really, really exciting one. They were ultimately held out last year. They weren't able to pay the man his money. He did ultimately come back, but now he's playing for the division rival. You know he smells blood in the water. So Melvin Gordon, definitely one of the best running backs in the league. Dual threat running back. He could catch, he could run, and the way things are looking, he's probably going to run the hell over the LA Chargers. Number 2 on my list, I take none other than Myles Garrett himself returning to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, out of all the games in NFL history, this is probably the most brutal fight that I've ever seen. Now, there's 2 sides to every story. Obviously, Myles Garrett, everybody saw him swing the helmet on that young man's head, but a lot of people didn't see where someone took and grabbed the other dude's balls and, tried to go at him as well, too. So it goes both ways, but nonetheless, there's a lot of hatred for Myles Garrett, and there's a lot of hatred for the Pittsburgh Steelers and how that whole situation was handled. So nonetheless, that's going to be a really, really great game to look out for. Definitely a matchup I'm going to be tuning in for, no doubt. And finally, number 1 on my list, we have the Kansas City Chiefs facing off towards the Houston Texans. Now, listen, guys, this past year in the playoffs was one of the most craziest playoffs I've ever seen. It's like every single game that they played, including the Super Bowl for the Kansas City Chiefs, they were playing from behind. And not just 1 or 2 touchdowns, several touchdowns. Now, in this game, Kansas City Chiefs, Deshaun Watson was having his way with the Kansas City Chiefs. He ultimately ended up leading his team to a 24-point lead in which they blew it. They blew it. It was bad. It was not pretty. If you're a Houston Texans fan, your New Jersey this year should have been a paper bag because it was just so pathetic how they blew that lead. Ultimately, that lead ended up being the reason why the Kansas City Chiefs will not only win that game, but they will win the next game and eventually be behind again in the Super Bowl. But nonetheless, Patty Mahomes took it home and they won that one too. So anywho, that's going to be a great match to look out for. That's going to be on September 10th. That's going to be week 1 of the NFL. So very, very excited. All of these are going to be great games. This was a really tough list to put together. If there's any games that you felt that should be added to the list, please do let me know. Make sure you guys go ahead and hit the subscribe button, hit the like, the comment. You catch my videos on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, of course, YouTube. Also catch me on moneyline-media.com. That link's going to be down below in the description. It's a real cool website. They got a lot of great videos on there as well, too. So check them out. Other than that, thank you guys so much for watching.
Touchdown!